Hey, it's Tim here. And in Tableau 2020.4, Tableau have added a new feature called the Connector Gallery. Now, I'm actually showcasing this for another connector called the Datorama connector, because essentially this has been added to 2020.4. But if I go ahead to Tableau Desktop and I have a look at the window here, you'll see that there is no Datorama connector in this list. If I just go down here and I search Datorama, you'll see that nothing comes up. Essentially, there's nothing there. So it's actually a little bit of a contrived way of adding this. These are not native connectors per se, but what they're essentially doing is allowing partners to build connectors. So Datorama can come along, look at the way Tableau works using their API and actually build their own connector. Think of these as sort of extensions or hooks into Tableau. So if I go back to my browser here, you'll see that I'm back here on the 2020.4 feature page where they talk about a Datorama feature. So to find out where it is, I'll go over to the What's New in Tableau desktop page, and you'll see here that there's a new option here called Finding Partner-Built Connectors, okay? And these partner-built connectors share the same home as the extension gallery. So I've got another tab open here. It's a little bit of an Easter egg hunt. And we've got the dashboard extensions here. If you're familiar with dashboard extensions, these are essentially plugins you can add to your dashboard, and they add functionality to your dashboard that maybe Tableau don't think they should build, but other people in the community think they should. And some of those are paid, some of those are free. I highly encourage you to try and use these and find out how they work. But there's now a new section called connectors. So now they've added that sort of gallery experience to the connectors, and here you can find the Salesforce Datorama connector, and this is how essentially it works. Now each of their connectors has its own installation instructions. If we go over here to the Salesforce Datorama section, you get a little description of what it does, what Datorama can do. Of course, this has been built by Salesforce and Datorama, but there's essentially instructions on how to install it. And so it's not your typical installation as you'd expect, that comes packaged with Tableau, which is a slightly less desirable way of installing these. But essentially you follow these instructions, and then when you restart Tableau, the installer is going to be available. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this Datorama connector, we're going to fire up Tableau, and we should hopefully see the Datorama connector in there. Okay. Let's get involved. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is download the extension. So let's go ahead and hit download. I'm just going to save this to my desktop. I want to keep this somewhere simple that I can access it later. You can see that it's called a Datorama JDBC. I'll just call this 2024 so that I know where it's coming from. And I'll just save it to my desktop. You'll see I've actually downloaded it once already, and it's already on my desktop twice essentially. Okay, so over the next step, we need to move it to a specific folder. Here in the documents, I actually have that specific folder here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video quickly and then open up that folder just so you don't see some of my personal files in this exact location. Okay, just give me 1 second and we'll be back in a bit. Okay, so we've navigated to the location we were asked to go to. Essentially, this is the Tableau repository file, and you can see there's a new place here called connectors, and essentially we want to add the files from the desktop into this location. So what you want to do is essentially drag it in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and do a Mac thing, which is I was actually going to try and drag it, but of course the Finder window went into the background. So what I'll do is I'll be a little bit savvy. I'll leave this here just off screen. I'll open up the connectors folder. Then I can just use this little gap here to drag it into the desktop. And there we go. There we have the file where it needs to be. And it's a taco file. This is essentially how extensions sort of work inside a Tableau. And this is essentially a connector. So we're pretty much good to go. If I go back to the instructions, you'll see that start Tableau under connect. Select Datorama connector. Note you'll be prompted if the driver is not yet installed. Okay, so essentially we need to close Tableau and open it up again. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go back here to Tableau. On a Mac, to close Tableau, it's just Command Q. That closes every instance of Tableau. I'll just open up my Finder here just to bring up Tableau 2020.4, and you should see it opening up in a second. It might open up on my other screen. Nope, it's opened up here. This is great. And now we have this open, and in a moment of truth, we're going to see if the connector is actually there. So go down to more, and if I look at it there, you can see Datorama by Salesforce. So now that connector is there, and if I go ahead and open it up, it's going to check to make sure I've got any drivers. So if you go back to the installation instructions here, you can see here that it says, note you'll be prompted if the driver is not yet installed. So essentially the JDBC driver, I think, is what's essentially going on here. And then obviously if you go to the driver installation page and you follow the installation instructions there, everything should start working fine. you get your workspace ID, is basically start using connector as normal. So this is a really sort of nice way of adding new connectors actually to Tableau. And specifically, these can be connectors that Tableau themselves haven't built. So this should start to open up a world of possibilities for people who are wanting to connect to new data sources, and maybe Tableau haven't put the time into developing the connectors, but actually third parties are willing to do this and partners are willing to do this, and therefore they can go ahead and deploy this on the gallery. Okay, that's pretty much the feature in a nutshell. We actually covered two things there: the Datorama connector and the extension gallery for data connectors. Essentially, I'm going to call it the connector gallery because I think it's important to sort of signify that they're different things. Tableau call it partner built connectors. It's one of these things where what is it actually called? Is it extension gallery? Is it dashboard extensions? Are they connectors? Who knows? The name will get decided by the community at some point. Whatever name sticks is whatever will happen. So I will wait to see what happens there. But otherwise, if you've enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Drop a like, subscribe, you do the usual thing. If you don't, send this video to someone you don't like. Maybe they'll like it instead. Take it easy, and I'll catch you in the next one.